can I see myself doing this forever? If you set a goal right now to literally work out, like Nell said, 7 days a week for 3, can you see yourself doing this forever?
No, immediately no. I can tell you that right now. I knew I was going to fail that when I was writing that down.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Strong, well-fed, outspoken. Time for another episode. If you're new here, my name is Rusty, or Coach Frizzle, or the Miss Frizzle of Fitness. This is my girl and my co-host.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alana Nel, aka Coach Nel. I feel like you need something before Nel because it's so short.
I know.
Right?
I know. I go on for like 10 minutes. And if you've been listening to us for a minute, you know pretty much at the beginning of every episode we talk about Nell's name. So
it's because I can't commit to one. When I was 5, I told my parents I wanted to go by a different name because I was AJ up until then.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah, because my full name's Alana Joy. And so my relatives still call me AJ. And then I was like 5 years old, 3 or 4. I don't even know. I was pretty little. I was like, I want to be Alana.
That's crazy. Wow. I actually like names like that where they can be like cute when you're a kid, but then also turn into something that's like a little bit more professional. Like we don't have kids, but I have always loved the name Fitzgerald if I ever had a boy, because I feel like when he's a kid, you could call him Fitz or something else.
Gerald.
Just something like cute. But then like as he gets older, he could literally go by Gerald or Fitzgerald or something like that. But anyways.
Yeah, because I think about that often. Like there's nothing to do with our topic today, of course, but like baby Robert. Do you call do you know any little Roberts? No, you know older Roberts, and then you know like Bobbies, right?
Yeah, one of my aunts, and actually now I'm thinking, is his actual legal name Robert? It might be, because he always went by her son. Sorry, it was always Robbie. But I think it was actually Robbie. She had 2 kids, a girl and a boy, and she named Robbie and wow, I'm totally drawing a blank right now.
Family, if you're listening.
But they were basically named after like characters in a TV show that she loved.
Oh, see? I think that's cute.
Lori. There we go. Robbie and Lori. So I think it was actually Robbie. I don't think it was Robert. But I always think that with the name Ruth. Like, have you ever met a baby Ruth?
No.
Yeah. I always think that's like such, and obviously like I knew when I was a kid, I knew older women named Ruth. Yes. But now being, in my 30s, I'm like, were they called Ruth as like a 2-year-old? I guess like Ruthie maybe.
Yeah, probably Ruthie.
Yeah, but it just sounds like...
I love like the evolution of names. I could just read about this for hours and hours. Yeah. I think it's so fascinating. Like family naming, the way nicknames evolved. Like how is Lilibet short for Elizabeth,
Yeah.
Like I just think that's cool. So cool. Then Betty is now short for Elizabeth, which isn't really in there at all, right?
Yes, it is. I know. And then like different cultures as well. It changes.
Yeah, and different like even eras. I mean, you and I are around the same age. How many Jessicas do you know?
Yes. Oh
right?
Yes.
Stephanie's.
Yes.
You don't meet Stephanie's anymore. There are no kids Stephanie's.
No, I know. Whereas like my parents, even grandparent, like John, it was like everyone's named John. Like it's insane. But then you go like, further back. My sister and I did this because a lot of our family members that are much older, like their names are so like Edith, Muriel, like it's so, interesting.
There's been a resurgence of those too, which I think is really cool.
Yes, I have seen way more Ediths lately. And I'm like, wow, this is interesting. But I feel like everything old is new again.
Yes. Yeah, my little brother is Elijah, and there were no Elijahs. And now I see all these little dudes named Elijah, and I'm like, that's awesome.
I like that name too. I think of the actor from, not that I'm a Lord of the Rings fan.
Elijah Wood. Yeah.
Elijah Wood, yeah.
And he always wanted to go by Eli his whole life, but because we all have J middle names, we could go on for this forever. We won't talk too long. But his full name is Elijah Josiah, and we always called him Jija Joe.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so even to this day, he's like 27, and I'll still call him Jija Joe.
That's wicked. I like that. I'm totally like team unique name.
And we're very much like family nickname. Like, correct me if I'm wrong here, but Rusty's not your legal name, is it?
No,
No.
it's not. But now that you've
But
put that
that's what
out there,
everybody knows, right?
start asking me. Yeah.
It's a secret. You'll never know.
Yeah, no, you'll never know, people. You'll never know. But yeah, no, it's actually, that's why at the beginning, when you said you never liked your name, I always went with Rusty.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like from my mom, basically. But yeah, Rusty, like I never liked my legal name. I never identified with my legal name. So Rusty's always been kind of like the fit. Although it's funny because my mom told me, obviously, like if you guys are listening for the first time, or maybe you don't know, like Hawaii is my home away from home. I always say it's like my soul place. What's really funny is that my mom was actually going to name me Miley when she was pregnant with me, not Miley as in Cyrus, Miley as in the Hawaiian version of Miley. And so I forget actually how they spell it now, but it's completely different than how you would imagine. And it was my dad who last minute had suggested another name for me, and my mom went with it. And I was like, you should have gone with your gut, because like
you knew she birthed you to be that.
Yeah, I'm like, literally that was meant to be. But yeah, good times. Although no, you just said other people in your family have nicknames. Nobody else in my family has like another name.
Oh
Just
no,
me.
we all go by a shortened version of our name pretty much. Well, I shouldn't say it. My one sister doesn't, but she is like, it's Dana. Well, I guess they call her D sometimes, but
that's cool.
Yeah, we don't use anyone's real name. I think that's why I don't like, I'm like, oh, this is who I am. I've gone by so many different names over the course of my life.
Yeah. That's, yeah, for sure. Some not so good ones on my end, but we'll save those for another day. Anyways, you guys, welcome to the pod. So this episode, we're going to talk a lot about, next couple episodes, probably going to talk a little bit more about New Year's, because obviously there's a big push this time of year to like set your resolutions. And I think we've talked about this before. We're both fans of New Year's resolutions, but I think sometimes it can be, anything, right, can be taken out of context or in a negative light. And I think for a lot of people, they feel pressure right now to like set these all-encompassing, all or nothing goals. I know for years I was stuck in this mentality, right, where it literally is like you're going 0 to 100. And
yeah, I look back at some of the goals I set and I was like,
yeah,
you were never going to achieve that like that, girl.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm like, I wish I had me for myself back then, because there were so many years I spent frustrated and just miserable and thinking, okay, I'll do it again this year. And then, restarting the 6-week plan that I never finished the first time, or starting a new 6 weeks plan and never getting through it and being like, what the heck is going on?
Or even thinking like the one thing that I had learned was going to be the thing that set me like forward. Like I remember one year I had some outlandish goals, timeline wise, whatever, but I was like, oh, if I speak positively about it, it will happen. And so I kept using the term I will, which is not inherently bad. And I actually agree with that practice, but it still has to make sense.
Yes. It has to like flow into other.
Yeah. It was like, I will weigh, an outrageously low number for my body size.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, do you remember the book? It was pretty big a while ago. The Secret, I think it was called.
Yes.
It's kind of along this mentality of like, if you just mentally think about it, it will come into fruition. I'm like, not be.
We were even joking about this in our community chat about like thinking about going to the gym, replacing going to the gym. Obviously we're joking about it, but it just came up.
And it's so true. And like manifestation is so big. I agree with you, like speaking it into existence, but like you also have to act it into existence
and be realistic about how can you actually act into it?
Yes. So, a lot of people right now are starting to think about what they want to accomplish. And, no matter what your goal is, it doesn't change the fact that majority of people, there's a very good chance majority of you listening right now are thinking about losing weight, losing fat, body recomposition, changing their physique in some manner, even getting strong, right? Playing into changing their physique. If we were to be having a one-on-one conversation, with you each right now, I think if we were to get to the heart of why it is you guys want to accomplish these things, it's because there's probably a part of you that doesn't feel like the version of you imagine for yourself. There's probably something inside where, I'm not saying you have to be miserable here, but there's a very good chance you're probably living a life right now where something feels like a disconnect, where you don't feel like, again, a version of yourself that you want.
Or you're striving to like find that past version of you where you thought you were whatever, right? Usually it's associated with, oh, I was happy then, or I was thin then, or whatever, right?
Yes, exactly. Basically, like, you want to feel better than you ever have before. And I love that for you. Who doesn't want to just have that upward trajectory in their life? Mm-hmm. But yes, this time of year, I think it's really overwhelming because it also feels like, where do I start? How do I start doing that? And with so many, again, plans and challenges.
And everybody's saying like, yeah, meet your goals, start doing this. Like, yeah. I do this for a living, literally. And last year, just scrolling through TikTok or Instagram or whatever, it's like, New Year reset. And I'm like, I'm not getting rid of this stuff. I like this stuff in my life.
100%. Yes. It's crazy, some of the things that are coming at you right now. And I think that is part of the reason why a lot of people feel defeated. They even feel hopeless this time of year, because there is a big push to like, do this, don't do this. Or like, if you're not joining in, you're missing out. And the thing is, most of you guys listening right now have probably tried to get out of this place before, or tried to get into the place you want to be before. And it hasn't happened. You can't get to where it is you want to go, and whether in the past, yes, as Nel said, you have tried to do this because you've done like these health resets, using the air quotes here, or you've done these like cleanses, or these 6-week challenges. Man, I signed up for so many 6-week challenges.
We should make a list of how many of these things we've done over and over again.
Yes. And the ones that I already said this before, but like challenges I would sign up for, and I didn't even make it through once, but yet the next year I had convinced myself, I'm going to somehow be able to do it this year.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming. It's frustrating. It really does feel like, what do I do? Where do I start? And like, the biggest thing I want to say is, if you guys look at the underlying theme of the challenges or the goals you've set before that you haven't been successful with, they probably have a major thing in common, and that's that they're telling you to do a shit ton of stuff.
Yeah.
There's so many items on this list, is longer than my grocery list. Like, and I eat. So it's a big list, man. It really is. I think the biggest thing I want to say to you guys first is that no matter what your goal is, you cannot overwork or willpower your way into lasting change. Like, over willpower your way into lasting change, right? You cannot overwhelm yourself into a change that actually is beneficial or sustainable for you.
Yeah, because has this worked for you in the past?
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Probably not.
Yeah. If we're being totally honest, like, let's lower the defense mode, baby. If we're being totally honest, it doesn't mean you're a failure if you literally haven't seen success before. It likely means that the plan that you were following was the problem, right? So if deep down it's never worked for you before, then what I want to say is, like, welcome to what we're calling 2026, the year where we literally are going to start the way you want your year to end. So you actually feel like this version of you that you were trying to create long-term for the entire year, not for a 6-week, 8-week, 12-week stint.
Yeah, 21 days, 3 weeks. This is long-term, right? Because what happens if you do get to let's say you hit a goal. What happens then?
Yep, exactly.
At 3 weeks or 6 weeks or whatever.
Yep. 12 weeks. You're like, I feel great, but how does it last?
Right. And so if we're looking at this starting now and taking it throughout the year, you can maintain what you want to achieve. And I think that's important too. And when you get it wrong, there's room for that.
Yes, exactly. 2026, the year the results actually stick. Okay. If you guys are ready to create time in your schedule for your mental and your physical health, because both equally important here, both very correlated. If you're ready to let go of that stubborn part of you that, wants to just crush it out in 8 weeks on a program like me, you've never been successful with before, then this podcast is for you. But more than that, you have got to join us for our 2026 Results That Sticks challenge. And when we say challenge, it is a different challenge, because this is the type of challenge, like Nel said, it lasts beyond the 12 weeks. This is where we are starting the year already in the way that we want to end the year. So you get to that version of you and you stay there the entire time. Okay. No extreme diets, you guys. No, miserable restrictions. Learning how to eat in a way that actually helps you accomplish your goals, whether that's weight loss, fat loss, or body recomposition, right?
Yeah. A term I want you to take into 2026 with you is longevity.
Yes. Love that. Love that. Yeah. Because that is where we are going to actually learn what we need to build the confidence around the plan, around the food, around the workouts, around the habits, right? Learning how to create time in your schedule for workouts, for extra sleep, for the things you actually want to do, because all of this is part of you helping you feel like you again. Okay.
And this is so important because like I often talk about like the hierarchy of needs when I'm coaching, because we get hung up on this like one thing so high up and we're like, but did you sleep? How is your sleep?
Yes.
How are you feeling on a day-to-day basis? Because if you feel not great, you're not sleeping well, you're not likely to get to the gym. You're 100%. Not likely to get your groceries and meal prep because you're exhausted, right? Yes. And so we have to look at this as like, we're making a long-term plan here. And this is the challenge here, is to find that longevity within it, making those things stick.
Exactly. So no extreme diets, no miserable restrictions, literally learning how to eat, live, move, have habits that help you not only accomplish what you want to do, but become the person that you want to be, all the while getting support from both of us, our other Team Frizzle coaches, and the other clients who are literally in the same boat as you guys. The clients who are committed to changing their life in ways that actually work long term. We're talking doable and sustainable, as Nel said, longevity producing programs that are going to make sense for you in your life. And keep in mind, this is the only kind of coaching challenge we are going to be doing until probably January of 2027. So there will be a link in the show notes below that you guys can fill out. We will literally hop on a call with you next steps and get started on creating what it looks like for you to be successful in 2026. So,
because you can do a lot of hard things. I know that about you already. You're here, you're listening. You can do hard things, but can you do things from a place of love? Can you do things from a place of letting go of past habits that don't serve you? This is the kind of stuff we dive into deep so that the other stuff can be successful.
Totally. Yeah. Mind, body, soul around here, baby. Absolutely. And on that note, like one big part of 2026 results that stick is that we are going to be focused on reestablishing our beliefs, our mindset, our habits around what we believe we should be doing. Because like, let's be real. Nel, when do you remember either dieting yourself for the first time, or maybe not even dieting yourself, but when do you remember like seeing dieting for the first time, whether it was somebody else or
the first time I remember being kind of aware of any sort of like diet or structure around food is my mom. I don't even remember when this was. It was probably like late 90s. She had this little tiny book. It was like a wallet size book. And it had calories of foods. So she could track her calories, because if you guys track macros now, there's apps for that, right? In the 90s, there were not. So she had this little book for macro tracking. And I distinctly remember that moment is like, Mom, what's that book? And she showed us like, this is how many calories are in an apple. So that's like the first time I really remember being aware of like someone putting effort into their diet. But I think for me, the first time, I remember it was actually around the holidays. We were with my husband's family at a ski chalet, and I couldn't find ski pants that fit me. Yeah, I'm very tall, but none of them fit around the waist. And I remember crying in the change room. And so that was probably around 2011.
Yep.
And that was the first time I'm like, I'm going to fix this. I'm going to diet. I'm going to find it. And then I found some challenges, some 2011 challenges to join. Yeah. But that was really the first time for me. I was like, oh, I'm going to diet.
And that was the first time you hopped in. See, I remember the first time for me, like I remember knowing as a young kid, like I was heavier than the other girls. Like I was aware of that. I mean, kids will make you aware of that, but I was aware of that. But my sister was 7 years older than me, and she was a very highly competitive dancer. And my sister, we have different body types. My sister's like 3 inches taller than me. She's not
dancer. mentality or what used to be required was very
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Like, so that's what I mean. My sister was already very slender. She was already very lean, and her, like it was like literally the guy who owned the dance company said to her though, like, and she was high caliber, if you want to go the next step, you still need to lose like 10 or 15 pounds. I remember, so at, 9 or 10 years old, so my sister's 16, 17, watching her do hundreds of crunches on the ground. Mm-hmm. And I remember her eating like Melba toast and like tuna for lunch and like skipping out on dinner and things like that. And, she talked to us openly because like, oh, I need to lose weight. And it's funny because I remember when I started my fitness journey. So I was 16 as well. So 7 years later, did I not spend an entire summer doing hundreds of crunches on the ground and eating Melba toast? Because, it's not my sister's fault, but that's
what you had been exposed to. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like for me, okay, so that's like, how many years has it been for you then from like seeing your mom, let's say?
Oh God, like 28, yeah, 30. So, yeah.
And so for me, like, yeah, if I was like 9 years old, so yeah, I'm going on almost 26 years. Like, that's insane. Think about that. Look at how many years it's been, and both of us still remember those things.
Yeah.
And for you guys, like literally think about it. Think about your first interaction, your first experience with weight loss or dieting, and what you picked up from that got like mentally ingrained, because those things are really powerful. Mm-hmm. It is common for a lot of us because we've had this narrative of old beliefs, strategies, rules. These are the things that are actually keeping us stuck in this on or off cycle. So again, with 2026 Results That Sticks Challenge, we are breaking all of those.
Can you believe she decided to call this 2026 Results That Sticks? I can barely get it out.
I know. You know what's great is like I kept going over to like, what are we going to call this? And actually it was just this morning. Like I'm like six, and I'm like S, like, because I did that whole like Stupid Simple series.
I think that's the hardest part about coaching is coming up with catchy things for
honestly. So you guys, this podcast is a small taste of what is going to come up in our 2026 Results That Stick Challenge. And if you already know this is something I'm interested in, please stick around for the podcast. But like we said, there will be a link in the show notes for next steps. We definitely want to see you guys inside. So
absolutely. But
yeah,
we always lay it out here. We always keep it real. So before we go any further, you need to commit to these things. Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Lay it. Give it to us, girl.
1, no longer telling yourself you failed. You are not a failure. Yep. Stop doing that. Yep. You know what? You see those like videos where they tap you on the face? Bring your head close to the screen.
Yeah. Right on the camera. Yeah, absolutely.
2, no longer saying I'll start again, but deep down telling yourself, well, what's the point?
Yes, this is so huge because like when you tell yourself, we talked literally at the beginning about speaking it into existence. But if you're telling yourself, I'm going to do this, but then subconsciously telling yourself it's not going to happen, guess what? The subconscious is way taking over what you're actually verbalizing out loud.
Yep. And then finally, the last thing you need to commit to is no longer saying, I wish I could make this happen, but I probably can't.
Yeah.
We're letting go of that self-doubt. Goodbye.
Yes. Honestly, the very first commitment outside of literally clicking the link in the show notes is actually saying to yourself, I am, as Nel said it like before, I am going to, or I am willing to, I am ready. We are speaking about who you are now, not what's happened in previous years before now. Okay.
Did you say it out loud? I can't hear you. I have to put my trust in you.
Honestly, though, it's, the only thing I'll say from like these BS plans that I see with like these like resets and things like that, or these cleanses, the only thing you guys need to cleanse yourself of this year with starting our challenge is what has happened before. Okay. Because again, you are not the problem. The methods were the problem in the past, right? You have likely never been the problem, but again, the methods and the plans that you have been following were the issue. And that's why it's time to do something that is different, something that works for you. But step one is literally, as Nel said, go back 15 seconds, click that back button and say all of those things, actually mean it, and then let's carry on.
Because that's telling yourself that you are committed to doing something different. And your body and your heart and your soul need to hear that.
100%.
You need to hear that.
Yes, absolutely. So here's the deal, guys. This is exactly how we're going to start off. And like, if you're listening and driving, you know, I recommend you actually doing this, because first thing we're going to do here is pen to paper. We want you guys to write out all of your current health habits. Okay. The things you are doing, the things that you are trying to do, but maybe not successful at, or the things that you've just been like believing I should do, like write all of them out. And then what we're going to do is I want you guys to take a highlighter or a pen, it doesn't matter, and either highlight or put a little star next to the ones that fall into any of these three categories. So number one, the habits that you're actually doing very well with, the ones that you're following through and you're doing well with, highlight or put a star next to. Then we're going to do the ones that you actually enjoy. That's a huge thing here. So the habits that you actually enjoy right now, for me, you know, that's always going to be moving my body, working out. Love that habit, right? Highlight it, put a star next to it. And lastly, the ones that you want to keep doing, or even the ones that like kind of falling into the ones you enjoy, the ones that you genuinely feel great following.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, that's going to the gym. That's moving my body. Falls into that second category, but still equally important.
Yes. For me, that would be like meditation, right? Like,
and see, that's an easy one for me because of what I've trained in, right?
Yogi. Yeah, absolutely. So those three things: one, you're doing well with; two, things that you enjoy; and three, things you want to keep doing, or the things that, you know, you just feel great with. Highlight, put a star next to. These are what's currently working for you. Literally, these are the ones we are keeping. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We do not need to change these things. Okay. Now I want you to look at what's next on your list. And
everything that's not highlighted at this point. If it's highlighted, we're good.
Yep. And I did this myself this morning when doing the notes for our podcast. I like wrote down a bunch of things that I know I used to believe at some point, or even just things that have been pushed on my social media page that I would possibly, if I was, you know, in your guys' position, thinking these are habits I need to do. So, you know, working out, you know, 3 to 6 times a week, right? Meditating daily, making all your own meals, apple cider vinegar shots, you know, not eating sugar.
And the basics too, right? Getting enough steps in, going outside, right?
Yep.
There's good ones in there too, and there's not so good ones in there, right?
Exactly.
That's what your list is going to be. We're not expecting all good. We want what you're currently looking at, what you're currently considering, pros and cons.
Yeah, what you're seeing, what's kind of earwormed its way into your brain as like a healthy habit. You know, I know for a lot of people, they feel like, oh, I got to wake up at like 5 a.m. to be like productive and zen and things like that, or whatever it is. So literally write out that entire list. We've highlighted the ones that we are keeping, that are working. Now, here's the thing. What we want you to do with the rest of these things is ask yourself 2 questions. Why are you even trying to do these things? And do you even like them?
Do you have an answer? Yeah. Do you have an answer as to why you're doing it or wanting to do it?
Yeah. So why are you trying to do these things? And do you even like them? Because like Nel said, if you don't have an answer, you are literally crossing these off your list right now. Mm-hmm. And remember, you can always add these back in later. But if you don't have an answer for why you're doing these things, and if your answer for do you even like them is no, then we are crossing them off the list. Now, keep in mind, some things, which we will talk about, you might not enjoy just yet. But going back to those first 3 initial questions, we know that we feel great doing them. Mm-hmm. So we are going to keep them on the list. We're not going to cross them off. But maybe they're not something that we're at the point of prioritizing just yet, which we will talk about.
Yeah, because the do I like this could still be no at this point. But if you don't have a why you're doing it,
Exactly.
That's the issue, right? Do I like practicing the piano every day? Not really. Yes. But why am I doing it? Because I like to accompany myself when I sing. I like to be able to do my own vocal warm-ups. I like to train my hands in that way because I had an accident and I didn't think I'd be able to do it.
Exactly.
Right? I have the why behind it, even if I don't like it in the moment.
Yes, exactly. Which is why the first two questions are either things you're doing well with, things you enjoy, or things that you either want to keep doing or genuinely make you feel good, right? And sometimes the things that make us feel good, like Nasa, we don't necessarily enjoy right off the hop. So all the other things, why are you doing them and do you even like them? Because again, in 2026, for results that stick, we are keeping it stupid simple. And we need to be honest with ourselves. In the past, you have probably tried to accomplish your goals with a list that was at least 10 things long. I definitely did.
Girl, when I started reading over the show notes to discuss today, I was like, oh God, I should go pull up some of my old journals and look at some of the most ridiculous stuff I wrote. Because I did. I had those goals. I had those lists.
Yeah. Do you remember any of them, like off the top of your mind?
Yeah. One of them was that I was going to work out every single day, 365 days a year.
Oh, damn. Yeah, that's exhausting, man.
And I was going to lose weight by food journaling, which can be done. Yeah. We help people be very successful at it. But when I looked, it was like, I had a pretty good day. 4 slices of pizza and a bag of Cheetos.
That's awesome. You didn't actually change anything. You just started writing it down.
Just wrote it down.
Yeah, that's wicked. I know, for me, again, with my sister's thing. So I literally spent an entire, I don't know, weeks and weeks, months and months doing 1,000 crunches a day.
Yeah. Or cutting out complete foods that I love.
Yep.
I had that one every time.
Yep. I really got stuck in my mind of don't eat after 5 p.m. I remember, actually speaking of the 1,000 crunches a day, I remember literally calculating okay, 3,500 calories in a pound. So divide that by 7 days and whatever it is, 700 so there was a period of time, one New Year's, where I went to the gym and did cardio, the equivalent of whatever it was, 750 calories every day for 7 days. Cause I'm this is how I will force myself to lose 1 pound a week. Right. It's just, and these are just one-off things, but I tried to do them all at once.
Yeah, one time I became obsessed with losing inches because the scale doesn't define me. Yeah, which I still agree with, and I still agree that losing inches is a good metric of fat loss. But what I didn't know was that you have to have fat loss to lose inches, right? Totally. So I was I'll just do a lot of I don't know, waist trainers.
Yes. Oh yes. Yeah. And that's the thing for some of you right now, you can probably think about what you've done in the past. Maybe you've worn the waist trainer, done the cardio, told yourself, yes, that's a huge one. I got to be in the sauna 4 times a week. I got to wear my red light therapy mask. Yeah. I got to be up at 5 a.m. I got to meditate. I have to do cardio this many times. I can't eat after 5 p.m. I have to do 1,000 crunches a day. Baby, it is a lot, and therefore it is overwhelming, and therefore you are not sticking with it.
And right? Are you getting through the day to begin with?
Yep.
Because right now I'm very low energy. I'm going through some health stuff. That's fine. It is what it is. But I also know that if my expectation is that I'm getting up at 5 a.m. and I'm doing 20 things before I even start the day, it's already shutting me down.
Yeah, no. Motivation to get out of bed is non-existent.
No, so we need to look at how you're currently doing before we load you up with all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. And again, this is where we can ask ourselves, why do I believe I need to do these things? Because if it's because somebody on Facebook Reels told you, baby, that is not a valid reason.
And for our younger population, that's TikTok.
Yes. Yeah. Literally any platform. Yeah. X, Threads, whatever even exists nowadays, Pinterest, it is not a valid reason. And then again, do you even like these things? Do you like waking up at 5 a.m. to meditate? Because guess what? You can say, I really like meditating, but for me, waking up at 9 a.m. is actually reasonable. I feel good and I'm more productive. That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, super quick pause here, because if you're listening to this episode and thinking, I really don't want another January where I go all in and fall off by February, you are exactly who we built our New Year's one-on-one coaching for. Our program is called 2026 Results That Stick. And the goal, if it doesn't sound obvious, is super simple. We want you to start 2026 the way you actually want to end 2026. It's not about losing 10 pounds in January. It's about making sure you're still here with sustainable results come April, come July, come September, come next December. Still moving, still consistent, still seeing progress. We are going to take you through a 4-month, 4-tiered coaching approach. Month 1 is going to be all about setting the foundation. Month 2 is our launch pad. Month 3 is where we literally start stacking results. And month 4 is where we teach you how to sustain every single result you've gotten. Think about it like this: 80% of people fall off by mid-February. And let's be honest, you've probably been part of that statistic. I know I have. Committing to the next 4 months means you're still going to be showing up when most people have already quit. You're going to get programming tailored specifically to you, one-on-one support from me and the other Team Frizzle coaches, as well as community support from other men and women who are working toward the same kind of long-term change as you. If you're ready to stop starting over and actually build results that last, click the link in the show notes and apply for our one-on-one 2026 Results That Stick coaching, and let's build something you're proud of, not just in January or February, but all freaking year long. All right, back to the episode.
So once we have crossed these things off of our list, now we're going to look at what's left, right? So you might have things right now that you haven't highlighted, but you haven't crossed off either. So what we're going to do is we are going to commit to 3 things based off of what's left, right? And at the same time, if your list is empty now, so if it's only between the things you've highlighted and everything else is crossed off, that's okay, because we're going to come back to what I call our forever habits. Forever literally being 4 habits that we can do for forever, because they're simple and they make you feel great. They always work, right? 1, daily food and hunger signal awareness. 2, movement of some kind. 3, water. 4, sleep or recovery, right? Especially if you're a new mama. Might not be sleep, but still recovery focused.
Yeah, sometimes these aren't a perfect system, but we know they're important. So we do need to make sure we've got something going on there, right?
Exactly. These are our forever habits that we teach you thoroughly how to manage and navigate inside of our one-on-one coaching. And that is something that we dive into more when you do work with us one-on-one. But again, they are 4 basics that we can do forever because they're simple, they make you feel great, and they always work.
And you need them to stay alive.
legitimately, right? And they're very empowering, even from a, like we said, hunger signal awareness perspective. Perspective is everything here, you guys. No matter what your goal is, right? Let's just use weight loss as an example. There is going to come a time when your scale is going to stall. It always does. Mm-hmm. When that happens, you are going to find yourself probably thinking something along the lines of, see, I'm doing everything and it's still not working. And the truth, y'all are ready for this? This is a harsh truth you need to hear. This isn't actually true. This is a story that isn't based on what's happening right now. It's a story based off the past version of you.
Yep.
It is a story that's based off of the you every single New Year's before this that had a list that was 10 plus items long and was overwhelmed. Because back then it was true. You were trying to do everything and it wasn't working. But that's not necessarily what's true right now. And this is something like we go over with our clients a lot, right? Especially when we're just focused on those forever habits. Sometimes people might still come to us and say, our clients might say like, this is hard. I'm not able to do it. I'm frustrated. And at that point, usually, we break down with them. Okay, well, like, what exactly is feeling hard about these? We get to the root and we realize it's not that they're hard. They usually actually have us feeling good, but they just seem hard because we're still stuck in that kind of trauma cycle, to be honest, of believing we're still doing a million things. And we need to remind ourselves, I'm not doing a million things. I'm only doing 4 things right now. And it's actually going well. And I actually feel good doing it. And it is enough. And we work through that with you.
Yeah, because here's the thing. And I think so many of us forget this. And I see it all the time, is that, I fell short.
Yeah.
But it's not that you fell short. It's that you've set your bar higher because you're achieving more. You're meeting these goals you have for yourself. And then you feel like when you've slipped back a little bit, that it's all gone downhill. And that's not true, because you are so much further ahead because you've been building these like 4 foundational goals, right? You've been building on those this entire time. And so it's not that you're undoing or you're failing. It's that you're actually in a different place.
Totally.
And you forget that. Like, my number one question when someone says like, I'm really struggling, I was like, would you have made this decision last year? Would you have made these choices even 3 weeks ago? And the answer is usually no, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Remember, we have habits with actions, but we also have habits about how we think, about how we talk to ourselves, including, this is so hard, I will never be successful.
Yeah. Like, do you ever want to gravitate to someone because they're just so cheerful all the time? It's because they've curated that skill. They work to be that way. Yep. And that's part of a habit that they've built.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When I had that list of 10 plus things, yes, it was true. I was doing everything. And yes, it was also true that I felt overwhelmed and nothing was working. But it's a lot easier to keep going when I'm doing to this day, 3 or 4 things that are easy to implement, simple to follow, and genuinely make me feel good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I call these my floor goals.
Yeah.
I have floor goals and I have ceiling goals. Ceiling goals are when everything's great. There's no stress in my life, blah, blah, blah. My floor goals are like, I am hanging on tooth and nail, but I'm meeting those floor goals, right? I'm on the floor, but I'm still hitting something.
4 to the floor, baby.
4 to the floor. 4 on the floor.
So now that we have like very much our health habits lined out for us, okay, the next thing we're going to do is we are literally going to use these as a launch pad. Mm-hmm. We want to now make choices that feel sustainable and enjoyable, not restrictive. So here's the next question you're going to ask yourself. Can I see myself doing this forever? If you set a goal right now to literally work out, like Nell said, 7 days a week for 3, can you see yourself doing this forever?
No, immediately no. I can tell you that right now. I knew I was going to fail that when I was writing that down.
Right? But like, even if you're like, no, I can do this. Okay, forget about even 365 days. Forever. Can you see yourself doing this forever? Because if the answer is no, or honestly, it's something you feel like you even have to do in order to see that progress, it's not for you. It's not for you. There's almost nothing that you have to do in order to see progress that will only be for a temporary period of time. You can accomplish any goal doing things you genuinely like to do and like should do or need to do, but not have to do it, right? There is a difference there. But if your answer here is yes, this is something I could do for the rest of my life, then awesome. We do it. We keep reminding ourselves of why we love it and why we want to keep doing it for forever. And I want to say as well, okay, because some of you might already be thinking, well, what about when it comes to something like tracking, right? For a lot of people, especially if they're new to tracking or planning out their food, heck, even planning out their day, they might feel like they can't, right? Planning your food each day does take a lot of time. And even on the weekends, like, I think that's where people struggle the most because it feels like it's not the most fun. It's one of those things people get the most frustrated with because of those things, right? How much time it takes. And so if you ask them, could you do this for forever? They're instantly like, no.
Right. True.
But what I want to say is the issue here, okay, is actually not the tracking. The issue is you likely don't know how to do it properly.
Yeah, because think about this. Even if you are in a job you love, it's a career you've chosen. What did you do to get there? You probably went to school and had to learn the ins and outs of it to be able to confidently do that job. Mm-hmm. Tracking to me is like that, right? Yeah. yes, it's so valuable, but I had to learn how to do it, and I had to be bad at it, and I had to have the plan to improve that skill. I just couldn't go in and hope for the best and put my food in some tracker and be like, well, I wonder why I'm not losing weight, because I was still eating 4 slices of pizza for breakfast.
Yeah. Right? No, it's so true, right? Tracking is one of those things you can learn online, but honestly, you will learn so much more being guided through the process with a coach like us, right? That will actually teach you how to make planning work for your weekends, for your nights out, for your dessert days with your best girls or whatever it is, right? The issue is not the tracking. It's likely because you don't know how to actually do it properly, especially when you're going out for dinner or you're going away for a weekend. And so if you feel that like you could not do planning or tracking for forever, it's not because the planning isn't working for you. It's because you're probably planning wrong. You're likely, we see this all the time, right? You're likely going into it thinking, well, according to my plan, I can only have these things. And as a result, you subconsciously feel like, well, shit, I'm not going to have any fun.
Yeah, I'm never, ever going to eat cake again.
Right? Yeah. Like if your plans are to go grab a drink or get dessert with your best friends and you won't be able to grab a drink or get dessert, you automatically think, well, I guess I can't plan this weekend then because these are the things that I want to do and my planning is not going to allow me to do so.
True. The first time I ever really, truly had success in my own weight loss was when the plan included eating a meal out once a week, when the plan included cheese. Yes. For me, that was the game changer because I didn't think I could have those things. And I kept failing over and over and over again.
For sure. Your plans only feel hard because you're only planning healthy foods that are way too restrictive.
Which, by the way, if you're doing that, we have a whole episode about it.
Yes.
So go back and listen to that one.
Yeah, we'll probably put it in the show notes below as well. But your planning, is struggling because it is about following rules that don't actually match the life you actually want to be living. And again, at the beginning of this, we said, what do people mostly want to achieve at the end of the day? They want to be living a life that feels like them. If your plans don't actually support that or line up with that, it is going to feel way too hard to do. Mm-hmm. So therefore, you feel you can't plan for life because you are giving yourself rules that suck. Truly.
That's in its core, right?
Yeah. So planning is not going to feel like it's something you can do forever because again, we're probably using old diet rules, restrictions, mental beliefs with our planning. And that is what's not sustainable, not the planning itself. And again, this is what we dive into fully. This is what we break down when you work with us because it comes up all the time.
It might come up in a surprising way for you.
Yeah.
A lot of the times we get into a conversation, it's like, oh, maybe that did come from my grandma or my mom or, a coach, right? Like we were talking about your sister.
Yes.
Some of those behaviors we don't even realize we have.
Yes.
Until we dig in deep and it's like, oh yeah, I remember that like defining moment in my childhood.
Exactly. Honestly, exactly. So again, guys, if you are ready to learn how to plan foods you enjoy while still accomplishing your goals and eat those foods in a way that actually helps you accomplish those goals, join us this year. 2026 results that stick. It is going to absolutely change your entire life. So with that being said, kind of coming full circle here, we don't actually want you guys to make a resolution this year. We want you to make a commitment. Okay. We have literally just gone over habits. We've gone over mentality. We've gone over how to use those habits as a launch pad. Now we want you to ask yourself, what feels doable for you on a week-to-week basis?
Yeah. Because a resolution is a wish. A commitment is a plan.
Yes. Amen. I love that.
That's why I'm the co-host. She plans everything out. And I'm like, here's a sage tip.
Yeah. Just
here's a word you can hold.
No, it's so true, right? We have the habits. We have the goals that you want. We've simplified everything. What we're going to then do every single week is ask ourselves, what feels doable for me based off of this week? each habit should have a weekly commitment so we know if we're hitting it or not. We don't want, like, in order to start the year already as the person you want to end the year as, I don't want you thinking about what do I want to accomplish by the end of 2026. I want you to think about what do I want to accomplish based off this week. And then we build a forward trajectory based off of that. We add to it instead of thinking we need to do it all at once, excuse me. It's not about perfection. It's just about creating upward, forward momentum. So if you want to genuinely work out 4 times a week, but you're not going to the gym at all right now, then maybe week 1 and 2, our commitment is just to get there twice a week for 40 minutes, right? If you're literally like not planning your food at all, you literally eat takeout or order in all the time, then maybe your commitment for the first couple of weeks that we will work with you on and help you align is to actually spend, a little bit of time prepping just breakfast and lunch each day. Maybe we're going to actually leave dinner totally open. It's about figuring out what it looks like for us this week, right? Instead of over the course of the whole year. That is what a true reset looks like. Not, trying to overhaul your entire life with a list that's over 10 items long in one go, right? It's simplifying by leaning into the things that are already working and keeping them, and then simplifying those next couple of things on our list from where we're starting from.
Yeah, we're basing our goals on your capability today.
Yep.
Right? So if your goal is to not eat out, you want to cook at home, but you're eating out, like Rusty mentioned, every day, then we need to start with 7 as your number.
Yep.
And work back from there. Not start at 0 and immediately fail because last week it was 7.
Exactly. We are going to work with you to create a simple plan, a simple way to have a plan that allows us to show up for ourselves every single week. And if you guys commit to this and follow it, we will get you to that point where you truly feel like yourself again. But I do want to say, just because we make a plan and we follow it doesn't mean it's easy to do, right, guys? The easy road, I always say this, the easy road will never take you anywhere you actually want to be. Mm-hmm. There is going to be a challenge here. That's why we're even calling it a challenge. 2 times a week, meal prepping, 2 times a week, working out, hitting your daily water every day, planning your food, just your life, whatever it is. It sounds doable, but here's the thing. When work gets hectic, when life throws chaos your way, and all of a sudden...
Because it will.
Yes.
It will.
Yeah. All of a sudden, the time you've allotted goes out the door. Having a plan, having a support system is literally the thing that is going to help you get through those times. I can tell you for a fact, it's not that people need a new plan in order to help them be more successful, a new diet, a new workout, new supplements. It's that they need to know how to navigate life when life is lifing. Yep. And that is the one constant in life, is that life will always throw things at you. And if every time it does, you fall off track, that is why you're never getting to the place that you actually want to be.
True.
Yeah. 80% of people give up on their goals by the middle of February.
That means that 8 out of every 10 people give up.
That's crazy. We talked about like the 6-week plans. I never even finished that I signed up for back in the day. That's literally 6 weeks, the middle of February. 80%. Yep. I was one of those people. And here I am now. Here Nel is now. This is partly what makes us such good coaches, is not that we have just the education, and not just that we have the practice from the literally hundreds and hundreds of clients that we've worked with, but because we know what it's like to be in that 80%, and we know exactly what it's like to overcome that. So you're never stuck in that percentage or category again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And my goal as a coach is to always, and I'm sure this is true for you, when a problem arises, to not just, listen and say, oh, that's okay, we'll try again. It's to go, why? And here's our next step forward. Because we've been there. What do you do when it fails and no one knows what to do and you give up on yourself?
Totally. Yeah, totally. As you say that, I think, this is really where it's the self-trust and the confidence, right? To be able to give yourself that grace, but also to continue to show up
Yeah.
And honestly, building that confidence, building that self-trust to show up for your plan is a different skill. Staying accountable week after week in the chaos of life, that's a different skill. So if you guys want to stick to this healthy 2026 results that stick, reset, okay, and accomplish your goals in 2026, you have got to join us. And I do want to invite you guys one more time, not just because we're wrapping up the podcast here, but because I don't want you guys to lose out on another opportunity this year to truly become the people that you actually want to be.
Like I said, because the best time to start was yesterday. The next best time is right now.
Hey, yeah, it's true. Right? Like we said, 80% of people give up by the middle of February. But if you join us, right, this is a 4-month challenge. Month 1, we are laying the foundation. Number 2 is because we have now laid the foundation. Our second month is where we are literally launch padding into success. Month 3 is where we are going to get results that you've never had before. And month 4 is where we teach you how to, as Nel said, keep it under wraps longevity wise yes. so that it is truly sustainable. 80% of people give up by the middle of February. If you join us, you're automatically not going to be in that number because you are committing to yourself until April. So you are going to give yourself the tools and the support you need to make progress towards your goals when most people are actually falling off and giving up.
That's true.
Okay. Show notes. In the show notes, there is a link. You guys can absolutely join us. Week 1 of working with us, we are going to take what we basically covered in this podcast episode, and we're going to make it so much more detailed specifically for you. We always start with our one-on-one clients with kind of a goal-setting workshop to set you up for success. So that's exactly what is waiting for you guys. We can't wait to work with you. Click that link, fill out that coaching form. Let's get you guys started. And in the meantime, where can they find you on socials, Nel?
Oh, yeah. Which actually is one of my 2025 goals that I need your help reaching. So you can find me on socials.
Because 2025 is about to be over, baby.
No, I'm going to get there. I'm close. So you can find me on all social platforms at coach.alana.nel. And the top goal on my list, because I was like, what is my percentage of actually hitting my goals? Because it used to be 0, right? Yeah. 0% adherence. And I was like, okay, I'm like 78 and 80% of the way there. But the one I haven't hit yet is hit 800 followers on Instagram.
Oh, that's awesome. What are you at right now?
6 something.
Okay.
I'm not going to get there. Let's be real.
A couple weeks,
unless I go viral. But, you know.
You never know. So go, guys. Go show Nel some love. Go give her a follow. Go share one of her videos. Go share one of our podcast episodes and tag us in it. Do you actually share your username?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Whatever, ADD brain.
And also follow Rusty.
Yes, so that you guys can also, exactly, thank you. You guys can find me as well at coach.frizzle. But the most important link you guys need is in the show notes. We are going to give you results that stick in 2026. You're going to start the year the way that you are going to end the year so that we get you to a position where you are truly living in a body, a life with habits that actually align with who it is you want to be so that you are truly feeling like your best self.
Truly. And if anything in this episode resonated with you, share it, give us 5 stars, tag us if you're sharing it. We love to know what you guys are up to.
Yeah, we really appreciate it, cousins. All right, we'll see you guys next week. We're going to talk a little bit more about New Year's resolutions and commitments. So we will see you guys then. Have a beautiful day.